History isn't just written by heroes. It's also written by men whose names still send chills down spines. Men who ruled through fear. Men whose decisions caused millions to suffer. And men who proved that absolute power can turn humans into monsters. These leaders didn't just control nations. They controlled life and death. From mass executions, to labor camps, to genocides that reshaped the world. Today, we're counting down the 5 most terrifying leaders in human history. And number 1? His cruelty was so extreme. Even his own people were afraid to say his name. Stay until the end because this list gets darker and more disturbing with every step. Number 5. Pol Pot, the man who tried to erase an entire society. In the late 1970s, Cambodia fell under the rule of a man who believed cities were evil. Education was dangerous, and intelligence itself was a crime. His name was Pol Pot. Pol Pot wanted to create a perfect society, one without money, schools, religion, or technology. To do that, he forced the entire population into rural labor camps. Doctors, teachers, engineers, children, everyone. If you wore glasses, you were suspected of being educated. If you spoke a foreign language, you could be executed. If you questioned orders, you disappeared. Under Pol Pot's regime, prisons became slaughterhouses. The most infamous was Tuol Sleng Prison, where over 17,000 people entered, and only 12 survived. Victims were tortured until they confessed to crimes they never committed. Then they were taken to the killing fields. Men, women, children, babies were smashed against trees to save bullets. By the time Pol Pot was removed from power, nearly 2 million people were dead, about 1/4 of Cambodia's population. And the most terrifying part? Pol Pot never admitted wrongdoing. He believed he was right. Until the end. Number 4. Idi Amin, the butcher of Uganda. Idi Amin rose to power in Uganda in 1971. At first, people celebrated him. That didn't last long. Amin ruled with unpredictable rage. One day he would laugh with reporters. The next, order mass executions. He eliminated political rivals, ethnic groups, journalists, and even members of his own army. Bodies were dumped into rivers. Some were never found. It's estimated that 300,000 people were killed under his rule. But what made Idi Amin truly terrifying wasn't just the violence. It was how casually he spoke about it. He once claimed to enjoy watching executions. He called himself the conqueror of the British Empire. He sent threatening letters to world leaders for fun. Rumors spread that he practiced cannibalism, rumors never fully proven, but never fully denied. His reign turned Uganda into a nation living in constant fear, where no one knew who would disappear next. When Amin finally fled the country, he lived the rest of his life in luxury, never punished. For many Ugandans, that may be the most horrifying part of all. Number 3. Mao Zedong, power at the cost of millions. Mao Zedong is remembered by some as a revolutionary hero. But history tells a darker story. When Mao took control of China, he launched massive social experiments meant to reshape the nation overnight. The most devastating was the Great Leap Forward. Farmers were forced into collective farms. Private food storage was banned. Production quotas were impossible. The result? One of the deadliest famines in human history. Tens of millions starved to death. Families ate tree bark. Children died in the streets. Entire villages vanished. And when people complained, they were silenced. Later came the Cultural Revolution, a campaign that encouraged citizens to turn on one another. Teachers were beaten by students. Ancient culture was destroyed. Millions were imprisoned, tortured, or killed. Mao maintained absolute control by creating fear. In worship, his portrait hung everywhere. His words were treated as law. Questioning him meant death. Historians estimate that Mao's policies led to over 40 million deaths, possibly more. One of the highest death tolls caused by a single leader in history. Number 2. Adolf Hitler, the architect of industrialized death. Adolf Hitler didn't just kill. He engineered death. Through propaganda, fear, and nationalism, Hitler rose from a failed artist to dictator of Germany. Once in power, he created a system designed to eliminate anyone he considered undesirable. Jews, disabled people, political opponents, Roma, LGBT individuals. The Holocaust wasn't chaotic violence. It was organized, planned, and systematic. Trains delivered victims to extermination camps. Gas chambers were disguised as showers. Human lives were reduced to numbers. Over 6 million Jews were murdered. Millions more died in war, camps, and executions. What makes Hitler especially terrifying is how he convinced an entire nation to follow him. He used speeches, symbols, and lies to turn neighbors against neighbors. He proved that evil doesn't always arrive screaming. Sometimes, it arrives applauded. Number 1. Joseph Stalin, the man who ruled through pure fear. If terror had a face, it would be Joseph Stalin. Stalin didn't just rule the Soviet Union. He paralyzed it with fear. No one was safe. Not generals. Not politicians. Not friends. Even loyal supporters vanished overnight. Stalin launched the Great Purge, where millions were accused of being enemies of the state. Most were innocent. They were arrested in the middle of the night, forced to confess under torture, sent to labor camps called gulags where survival was rare. Some were executed immediately. Others worked until they collapsed and died. Entire ethnic groups were deported. Families were destroyed. Children were punished for their parents' crimes. Historians estimate 20 million or more deaths under Stalin's rule. But what truly made him terrifying? Paranoia. Stalin trusted no one. He had doctors killed, friends executed, files kept on everyone. Even after his death, people were afraid to speak his name. Because under Stalin, fear wasn't a side effect of power. It was the system. These men ruled nations. But more importantly, they revealed something far more frightening. That when power goes unchecked, when fear replaces humanity, and when people stop questioning authority, history repeats itself. Evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like a leader, promising order, while delivering terror. The question is not how these leaders rose. The real question is, how many people followed them?